Good morning, guys. It's Brenda Douglas, real estate agent from Prince George's County, Maryland. And the skies are looking pretty cloudy here in the DMV. For those of you who don't know, the DMV stands for District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. And it looks kind of cloudy on this 4th of July Eve. It is the day before 4th of July. So I kind of wonder if we're going to have rain for the 4th of July. We'll see. Anyway, guys, again, good morning. Today I want to talk about repairs, or actually things that you need to look for when you are having a home inspection. So this is for home buyers, and actually it's for sellers as well, because sellers, you need to be aware of this as well. If you're planning to sell your house, you can go ahead and get these things ready now, because these are things that it's kind of drizzling. It is kind of drizzling. I thought that was because these are things that the home inspector is going to look for, but more importantly, the appraiser is going to look for these things. Now, let me just say, the buyer pays for the home inspection as well as the appraisal. The things that the appraiser, like some of the things that an appraiser, first of all, an appraiser is hired by the lender. Let me just say that, and so it's required, right? A home inspection is optional, although I don't suggest that you skip a home inspection. So an appraiser comes in, again, they're hired by the lender, because if the home does not appraises, or actually, whatever the home appraises for in terms of the dollar amount is how much the lender is going to give you in the loan amount, right? And then the other thing is that if there are some items or some things that the appraiser requires the seller to repair in order to give the loan, it has to be done. The repairs have to be made, right? The repairs have to be made if the appraiser declares that it needs to be so, right? Around this curve. Okay, so here are the things. Now, like I said, a buyer pays for the appraiser and the home inspection. An appraiser can be. An appraisal can be $400 and up, and a home inspection can be $200 and up, depending on the square feet of your or the size of the home. I hope there's not traffic. Traffic, DMV. And for those of you don't know, again, DMV stands for District of Columbia, Maryland, and Northern Virginia. And I hate to hit traffic so early on. So I might turn around. There may be construction up here. Anyway, guys, so the things that an appraiser and a home inspection look for, and then these are also things that the home buyer needs to be aware of and notice. And these are also things that the seller, if you plan on listing your home, these are things that you need to go ahead and work on if you know that something's wrong with them, right? So if you have a roof, the roof is the first thing. And you know some of the shingles are missing. You've seen them in the yard. You've seen leaks in your ceiling. You need to get the roof checked, inspected, and checked. Now, let me just say, let me save that for later. So the roof is one thing, right? So again, if you planning on putting your home on the market and you notice that some shingles have been flying off, or there's a water stain in the ceiling, you want to go ahead and get that roof checked and possibly repaired. And just understand that sometimes it's something small. Sometimes it's a matter of tacking down the tile, the roof tile, shingle. It's a matter of just tacking it down, right? Or replacing one or two, not the whole roof, right? So don't panic. But at the same time, you need to get it checked out, because the inspector is going to check it, and so is the appraiser. The other thing is the electrical system, right? If you see frayed wires anywhere in the electrical panel, or it acts funny, then you need to go ahead and have somebody to take a look at it, and get it, so you can get it repaired, or you can make concessions for it, right? Or give a credit to the buyer, right? The other thing is the HVAC system. If your AC doesn't run well, and you know, guys, with that HVAC system, one of the things you can do to protect that HVAC is change the filter, right? Change the filter. Check it, at least check it every month, but change the filter. The other thing is plumbing, okay? The plumbing, if you see that the toilet is leaking, or maybe you got some pipes, even outside pipes, if it is leaking water, somebody's going to have to repair it, right? Somebody's going to have to repair it. Again, the buyer is not able to get the loan if those things are not repaired. And these things are also what's called latent defects, right? And what that means is they have to, it is mandatory that they are disclosed to the buyer, right? Come on, dude. It is mandatory that these things are disclosed to the buyer. In fact, you have to complete a disclaimer or disclosure, but those things have to be reported. Now, if you do not report those things and they are latent defects, then what will happen is, first of all, the buyer can walk away from the deal. It voids the contract. And then secondly, it could be a lawsuit. And then thirdly, once the latent defect is discovered, it has to go on the report, and it stays with that house for other people to see, right? So we have, again, we've said roof, electric, HVAC, plumbing, and then the foundation is the next one. Foundations, the foundation is what holds up the house. It could even be a, what are them things called? Some kind of wall. It holds up, I can't remember what it is right now, and I'm driving. I really don't feel like thinking right now. So the foundation, you want to check the foundation. If you see any cracks, support wall. There's some kind of support wall. I see it all the time on HGTV. Anyway, guys, so you want to check those things and then work on them prior to the sale of the house. The other thing is water damage, like mold. Oh my God. I was reading an article, and there was this lady who purchased this home, and she figured, well, I can get rid of the mold myself because I want this house. And so she started scraping, trying to clean up the mold or whatever. And anyway, sadly, she ended up dying from the mold, the toxic fumes, I guess, of the mold. Some mold you will only... some molds require a professional to get rid of it, and some molds are very, very hard, and as you see, some of them are deadly. So when it comes to mold, you want to tread lightly. You really do, and you want to get a professional opinion. Listen, guys, I don't care how desperate you want any home. You have to put your safety first, right? And you have to think in terms of, okay, if this is not taken care of now, it could cost me thousands and thousands down the road, right? And there are solutions for homes that are as is, and I'll explain that in the end, okay? The other thing is you want to look for safety hazards, right? Safety hazards includes the stair rail being missing or broken or kind of, rocky or shaky. Those type of things are safety hazards. If there's a board that's up and someone can trip, safety hazards. Appraisers, again, when an appraiser comes out, if they find something wrong, that it can jeopardize the buyer getting the loan, right? And everybody at this point, you have a ratified contract. Everybody wants the deal to go through, right? Everybody on all sides, every side. What are the police doing over there? Anyway, so safety hazards. The other thing is painting, chipping and painting. Chipping and painting, you want to be careful because it could be. Is that a grocery? I think it's a grocery store card. I hate it when people take grocery store cards out and then don't. I want to say don't return them, but that is one where the disability people. One of them things they sit on and ride around the store. It's sitting over here on the sidewalk. Rhode Island Avenue. Anyway, guys, so chipping and painting. Okay, now let me just say something about The paint. Before homes were built, is it 1978, 1879? I think it's 1987. Homes that are built before, I want to say 1987. I can't recall the date, and I don't have it in front of me, and I'm kind of tired. So anyway, the point is that homes that are built before 1987, they require a lead-based inspection, a lead inspection, right? Homes built before then, they use paint because that was common during those days, right? So any home that's built before 1987 will have to, and I can't remember if it's 87, 78, they will have to get a lead inspection. So if you see painting and chipping, and let me just tell you that a lead inspection is nothing more than someone who's qualified coming out and then they do like a little swab or a Q-tip swab on the rub something on the a Q-tip on the ledge where the paint is peeling, and then they put it in some chemical, shake it up, and then they'll be able to tell you whether or not it's lead poisoning or lead or not. I want to say lead. It'll tell you whether or not it's lead. So any chipping and painting, you want to go ahead and scrape it down and then clean it up and then paint it. But on the other hand, if you know for a fact that your home has been built before, well, the buyer's agent is going to require them to get a lead inspection anyway, and they're going to receive a pamphlet saying that they should get a lead inspection. So that's not something that, and that's based on the age of the home. That's not something that can be, that's a workaround. So I'm sorry, I said a lot. If your home was built before that time, the buyer will automatically get, and actually the seller will as well automatically get a lead inspection pamphlet that advises them to have a lead inspection, and the appraiser will probably require it as well because, ooh, are you freaking kidding me? Then you got these fools flying around here. God protect me. Sorry guys, I get stressed driving sometimes. So anyway, what I was saying, chipped and paint. Okay, the other thing is the HVAC system. I think I might have already said that. I did. Broken window. A broken window, a cracked window, that's going to be a red flag, and the appraiser is going to flag it. And let me just say that some of the things that the appraisal and the home inspector checks will be cosmetic, and it won't be any big deal. But these things that are safety hazards and health hazards, it's going to be a red flag that's going to be raised, and they're going to have to be repaired. Now, the other thing is, let me just say, termites. If you see, what is it? The wood that's chipped or broken into pieces is what it looks like, almost like sawdust, wood that's been turned to dust. All of those are signs of termites, right? So again, you want to get the you want to have a termite inspection. A termite inspection is not included in the home inspection. That is something additional, but it's not a big cost. I can't recall how much it is off the top of my head, but you're going to have to get a termite inspection, because if the appraiser comes in and the appraiser finds termite damage, then you have a problem. The seller, like, it stops the deal until it's repaired, or until a decision about how to make these repairs are done, right? Because the repairs will have to be done on an appraisal before the lender will lend the money, right? And then last but not least, broken appliances, right? Any broken appliances will be flagged on an appraisal, and something will have to be done about it, right? Again, an appraisal is more concerned about health and safety issues. Let me say something else regarding the appliances. The seller usually has to, the seller has to complete an inclusion and exclusion document, right? And that document, when we go over that with that seller, that document, we check off, or the seller checks off, what is going to convey with the house, what is going to stay with the house, and what is going to go with the house, right? So all of that you should see, as well as the disclosure and the disclaimer. Your buyer's agent is able to pull, when we upload disclosures and disclaimers, then that should be in the, that is uploaded into the MLS system. So the buyer's agent is able to pull the disclosure and the disclaimer, where they can disclose whether or not there's any of these repairs that need to be done or something's wrong with any of these things, right? It has to be disclosed when it is a latent defect, right? On the other hand, in terms of the inclusion and exclusion form, that is a part of the listing agreement, right? So, and you want to know that anyway. If you don't see it, you're going to have to ask for it. Why, Brenda? Because sometimes you go through the final walkthrough and the refrigerator is missing, right? If the refrigerator that you see during the when you're looking at the homes is different from the walkthrough, then we got a problem, right? And you can even take pictures of what's in the house when you went to look at it, right? Because sometimes, I'm going to be honest, sometimes people switch things out. They leave you the cheaper stove and refrigerator, and then they keep the fancy one. So all of that you want to know, is this going to stay with the house? You know, or and because if they document that it's going to stay with the house, but then they take it, we have a problem, right? And you can fight on that behalf, right? So that's why I said taking pictures is fine, of what you want and what you think. So if you're walking through the house, they got nice stainless steel appliances, and on the form it says that yes, this will well, I wouldn't even wait for the form. I would snap pictures, especially if they're real fancy refrigerator, real fancy refrigerator. Let's say what has the dials, or like my aunt has one, the temperature, the time, and all the ice maker. You know, is real fancy, right? And yet at the same time, the stove. Some stoves can be real fancy with the pretty knobs and things of that nature. Knobs on the front end, all of that's high-end stainless steel or what have you. And so because of, there's a lot happening here, right? So you it's okay for you to take pictures of those things, because like I said, you don't want to get there and then they done swap them out, right? Even though they said, yeah, we're gonna the appliances are included in the house. You can take pictures when it's real fancy as proof. Okay, guys, I hope that this has been helpful to you. Again, all of the things that I mentioned are included as part of the home inspection. And the last thing I want to mention, I forgot to mention, is the fact that when a home is sold as is property, a property being sold as is, could mean that the seller, means actually that the seller is not going to make any repairs. Get your butt from around me. Means that the seller is not going to make any repairs, or doesn't want to make any repairs. But what they can do is they can pay it escrow. So instead of them paying up front to make the repairs up front, you can get paid for that, or get a credit at the you can get a credit at the closing table. Now let me say this because let me just say this. If you see a latent defect and the seller says, well, we're going to give you a credit at or even before then, we're going to give you a credit to make these repairs. Listen, get a quote for that thing. So if something is broke or if something is off, don't just say, oh, okay, we'll take your credit. No, get an estimate of how much that credit will cost so that you can ask for that amount at closing, right? You don't want to get a credit, but it's not enough to cover the problem, right? And like I said, it doesn't matter because, well, yes, it does matter because it will have to be fixed in order for the lender to even get you the money, because you fill out the loan application once you have a ratified contract. Then that's when you start going after the money. Either way, guys, listen, again, it can be paid. If the seller does not have the money up front to make the repairs, it can be paid at escrow. But you want to make sure that the dollar amount is correct by having an estimate. Buyer, you have an estimate on how much it costs so that this person or this seller can give you the appropriate amount of money. All right, guys, so I hope that has been helpful. Have an awesome day, and I will talk to you guys later.